We're
Hello.
back.
We are back. It doesn't feel like it's been a week.
Well, it hasn't.
Oh yeah, it hasn't. But I mean, regardless, it doesn't feel like it's been that long. I feel like it was yesterday that we were speaking. It doesn't
I
feel
know,
that long.
yeah. Well, it was, what was it? Sunday.
It was Sunday. Yeah. It was Sunday, so it's not been that long, but still, it doesn't feel like an awful lot of time has passed. But
No,
yeah.
that's true. What have you been up to since then?
So what have I been up to? Oh, so I finished uni, finished all my work. I finished like a day and a half earlier than I was supposed to, which is good. So I've just been chilling really. Been I don't know if you can tell, but I'm very sunburnt. I mean, it doesn't take much for me to burn. I'm so pale, as you can see. And I just got absolutely frazzled yesterday. I sat out in the sun for genuinely about 20 minutes, came in, my whole right side of my body, like you should see my legs, they are awful. Yeah, I'm just burnt to a crisp.
Oh, Abby.
Yeah, it's a shame really, because I don't really ever learn my lesson. Like I know I should know by now. Oh, I do wear sun cream as much as pretty much every time I leave the house I wear sun cream. But sometimes I'll forget. Like I go into the garden for 15 minutes just to have my morning coffee. And it'll only take me between the time of drinking my whole coffee that when I get inside I'm burnt. It takes 20 minutes, that's it.
What are you applying? You factor 50?
I'm usually, it depends. If I'm on holiday, I usually put 50 on my face because you don't want to get wrinkles. And then my chest.
Is that a thing?
Yeah. You're supposed to put sun cream or like high factor sun cream, otherwise it gives you wrinkles. Sun gives you.
No.
Yeah.
I've never heard that before.
Yeah,
What?
so I always put a high factor on my face just to protect, the future me, to stop me from aging. But then my chest and my shoulders, as you can see, burn so badly. So I usually put a 30 on. It's usually 13 on the bad areas and a 15 elsewhere. But didn't work.
Grade it. You're grading it.
Yeah, but it's weird because I don't really burn on holiday because I'm so conscious of like putting sun cream on, reapplying. You're sort of aware of the fact that you're in a sunny place. But I think when you're in the UK, you sort of forget that it is actually still the sun and you can still get burned.
Yeah, we do have the same sun as Spanish. It's not just like different sun.
Yeah, so so not great, but hey ho. What have you been up to though?
What have I been doing? That is a very good question. Waiting for my laptop to come, actually. It was taking its time. It was supposed to come yesterday, but it has taken its time. So I on the tracking device thing, you can look up where it's been going. And its journey, I'm actually pretty jealous. So it's gone, right, I'll take you through step by step where this laptop has gone from. So it's gone from China.
Oh, has it?
Made in China, yeah. So it's gone from China. It's then stopped off on the way in Dubai. So it's had a nice little holiday in Dubai. It's then been sent to Germany for a couple of hours. Then from Germany to a place called, right, now this is a strange one. Have you ever heard of a place in England called Stanford-le-Hope?
No, I've heard of Stanford, but not Stanford-le-Hope.
So have I. Now I saw Stanford-le-Hope and I was like, oh, is it some sort of town in France or something? And it's in England. Like, what?
It's in England.
Le-Hope is so weird. Like, why would you put that on the end of a?
Yeah, that is a bit strange, but
Anyway, so it's been a nice sunny Stanford. Then it went to Tamworth, and hopefully it will be arriving today. But
wow,
I think it's done more travelling than I'll do for the next year. So fair play to it.
I'm jealous as well. I'm surprised it's not. I hope it's come with snow globe souvenirs for me.
Can we have a look at your snow globes? Actually, that would be a good little tour.
Oh, cripes. Yeah, I just had to check the state of my bedroom.
This is a big moment. I can't believe I've not asked you this before.
I know. Well, right. So at the moment, sorry, excuse my awful camera skills. So at the moment, I'm waiting to get shelves put in. So at the moment, some of them, I don't know if you'll be able to see this because it's quite dark.
Oh my Lord, there they are.
So that's some of them. So this is some of them. This is like really shameful for me. I don't really like share this information. So that's some of them. And then the rest of them are on here.
They're unbelievable. What's your favourite one? Can you point out your favourite?
So my favourite ones are the ones the ones on this side are the ones that are my favourite. Oh God, sorry. So these are all my faves. Obviously, there's a lot of faves, but I would say
yeah, you've got a lot to go for.
I'd say, oh God, where's my camera? This one is quite cute. It's a Disney one.
Oh, I like that.
And it's got all like the
Mickey
Disney
Mouse
studios.
look.
So it's like Animal Kingdom, Epcot, like all the different studios in Walt Disney World. Oh God, this is like the cringiest moment of my life. Yeah, I've got loads that I love. Oh, this one from Sweden. It's got a moose with the snow globes in the moose's belly.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh, the snow. Oh, I get it now. So he's literally, and that's his feet on the bottom. Oh,
yeah,
that's really cool. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. So I've got some little weird and wonderful ones, but yeah. I mean,
have you got a snow globe now for every single country? Because it looks like you're getting pretty close.
No. So I don't, because the thing is, like I've got like my parents went to the US in February, travelled round, and they came back with like 5 snow globes for me because they travelled round. They've been to like Palm Springs, they've been to Death Valley, so they got like sand globes instead of them being snow globes. They had sand in them, which was cool because obviously they were in like the desert. They got me like ones from like Flagstaff, which was something to do with the space stations. I don't know something. They got me like loads of cool snow globes, but they'll come back and bring me some home. And then when they went to Japan a few years ago, so my mum travels to do marathons. They went to Japan a few years ago to do Tokyo Marathon, and they came back with like 6 snow globes for me because they said that they couldn't find any nice ones. They couldn't really find any, so when they did find a snow globe, they just buy it. But then they ended up going somewhere where they literally had an abundance of snow globes. So they're like, oh, these are really nice, pretty ones, so we'll get all of these. But then they had all this sort of rubbish ones that didn't actually look that nice that they'd got me anyway, sort of back up. So my parents are good for just bringing me a load of snow globes home. But they tend to be like quite a few from one place. So yeah, there's a lot of parts of the world I don't have any from. I don't think I've got any from South America. So,
oh, do you think there's like an online forum you could get on where you could like almost link up with someone from South America and be like, you got any? Do you need an England? I'll give you if you give me a South America.
Yeah, I'm sure there is. Like I know there are a lot of people out there who do collect snow globes. I think. I mean, I don't know. I watched a documentary. I watched a documentary on snow globes once.
Please, it's just not just me.
Yeah. Well, it's like become like a bit of a weird thing now. It just sort of happened, and then I used to collect key rings. I used to collect key rings, and then it turned into snow globes.
Mm.
Yeah, but
I love it. Keep it collecting.
Exactly.
What have you got for us this week? What's the story?
So, we are talking about everybody's favourite thing in the world. Football. What's your favourite thing in the world, isn't it?
My favourite thing in the world.
Yeah, I'm sure you're missing it very much. So, with countries around the globe sort of discussing over the recent weeks, announcing their plans to restart their football leagues, whilst obviously adhering to all the sort of social distancing guidelines. As we know, this sort of means that matches are inevitably going to be without spectators. You know, they're going to be empty crowds, these football matches, which you know, it's a shame, but it's what we've got to do. We've got to stick to the rules. Some leagues have already begun. So the German Bundesliga, I think, has restarted. My sister has been watching that. My sister loves her football, and when the Bundesliga restarted, she was like, I'm having the living room all day and I'm watching the football. So she's been following it.
Yeah, I think the Bundesliga has like reached its max popularity. I don't think it's ever been this appealing to people. But
yeah, she didn't have a clue about the team that she was supporting, but she picked a team and she's followed them. So, you know, she stuck to her guns. But yeah, so obviously some fans are a little bit concerned about the sort of lack of atmosphere. You know, it's a big part of football is the football fan, you know, atmosphere, the crowds, all of that. So the electronic giants Yamaha Corporation have sort of developed a way to maintain the atmosphere in the stadium whilst also sticking to the rules that we all have to follow. So it's been announced that they've developed an app that will allow users to send audio recordings of themselves making the typical sort of sounds that you would hear at a football match. So things like the cheering, the applauding, chanting of the well-known football chants, and even booing. So they're even allowed to boo, like, you know, they don't have to be in support, they can be against. So
that's like completely authentic, like they can, it's not like a soundboard where you send like a ooh or an ah.
No.
Like your
so
own
it's not
authentic...
like when you have your do you remember in school music lessons when you'd have your keyboard and it'd be like DJ, like you just press the button and they'd be like woo, you know, do you remember that? It's not like that.
That's what I'm envisaging, like a complete chaos of
just
like
woo. No, it's not like that. It's genuine. So, you know, each whoop and each cheer and each chant will be genuine, so they will be a bit different. So these audio recordings will then be used within stadiums, and it will allow fans and players to connect with each other even during these times where, you know, we're having to keep our distance and have the empty stadiums. So the remote cheerer app has been developed in Japan, and it has gone through a sort of trial run, a test run, in collaboration with the football clubs. Excuse me for my pronunciation because I could get this really wrong, but with the Japanese professional football club Jubilo Iwata and Shimizu S-Pulse at the Shizuoka Stadium. Okay,
it's a mouthful.
Yeah, so the stadium has a capacity of around 50,000 people ordinarily, but obviously they're empty at the moment. So during this test run, this trial run, fans sent their audio recordings through the app, and they could even select which part of the stadium they wanted their audio to be delivered to, which I thought was quite cool. You could sort of say, you know, because say you've got a season ticket and you sit in a certain stand every single time you go, you know, you would want your recording to be coming out of the speakers near where you would stand. You don't want it to be on the opposite end, or, you know, it's your end, so you want it to be there.
You want to own it.
Yeah, so they can select which part of the stadium they want their audio to be delivered to, with that sound being then transmitted through the relevant speakers in the stadium. So the test run appeared to be pretty successful. The manager of the stadium, whose name I struggle to pronounce, Shizuoka Stadium, said that at one point during the system field test, I closed my eyes and it felt like the cheering fans were right there in the stadium with me. So, you know, it sounds like it was, in his opinion, pretty genuine.
I like the I closed my eyes bit, because unfortunately the players won't be closing their eyes.
Yeah, so they'll have their eyes wide open, and
they'll be seeing a lot of empty seats. So I mean, okay.
But then in a statement discussing the trial run, Yamaha said that the field test was able to verify the usability of the system as a means of supporting teams in competition whilst removing the associated risk of infection. And it demonstrated the ability to create a spectator atmosphere similar to that of a real match by using separate audio transmission zones for each club. The app developers have also claimed to be in discussion about selling the system to other grounds outside of Japan, so to, you know, European teams. So, you know, it's not just specific to Japan. They're hoping to branch out and spread it across the sort of football and world. And they are even working on voice recognition software to censor out foul language. So, you know, it's not just that you can send anything in and it, you know, because I think a lot of people would take the mickey a little bit and will probably send in the worst thing that they could possibly send in and hope that it gets sort of aired. But they're sort of working on software to sort of block out any bad language or offensive language. which is obviously, high tech in itself. So it's looking quite good. And this comes obviously as the Premier League has announced its return on the 17th of June, which is exciting news for a lot of people. I think a lot of people are looking forward to this, very exciting. It's been a long while, hasn't it? Been about 2.5, 3 months without football.
It's been from mid-March. So what are we now? May, yeah. So
May, so about 3 months.
Months now. It'll be 3 months.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very welcome return.
Yeah. So obviously, with the return on the 17th of June, English clubs have been discussing ways that they can enhance the atmospheres within their arenas as well. So, they might be looking at similar technology or the same technology, the same app. We don't know yet, but they're in talks about it. And as I said before, the German Bundesliga has already restarted. And from what I've seen, they're sort of using various methods to enhance the atmosphere. I've read that broadcasts on BT Sport have sort of featured just the authentic sort of sound. So you sort of there and then sound, so not an awful lot, just the team shouting at each other and the coaches and managers shouting along. No crowd sounds, no crowd noises. But then later highlights programs have included sort of superimposed reactions, so cheering in the sort of whatever happens and stuff like that. So live stuff has been sort of authentic, but then later coverage has sort of had all this technology put on. And then, but that was with BT Sport, but then Sky Deutschland, on the other hand, are said to have sound engineers at their headquarters who are sort of choosing the appropriate response depending on what happens during the match. And they're using sort of audio from previous fixtures between the two teams. So that's sort of, they're using similar sort of software, using previous recordings as opposed to authentic real-time recordings, and using that to sort of
but that would be presumably during the match, not in a later highlight show. That would actually be
right. So sort of you're using your eyes where they need to be when somebody falls over or there's a tackle or there's a goal and all of that. But yeah, so this app, this Yamaha app's it's quite interesting. Sort of it'll be interesting to see how it pans out, whether or not other leagues and other teams sort of take on a similar sort of thing. It's sort of a strange concept, isn't it, being sat at home watching the football and actually actively recording yourself going, come on, like you can do it, kick the ball and all this, all the stuff. I mean, I'm keeping it PC here, but
isn't that always, I was thinking though, isn't that like in some ways sort of a fan's dream? Because you sit at home and you're kind of like, oh God, like you're always thinking like, if I was in the stadium, I'd say this or whatever, or I'd tell it. And you're like, oh, but I'm sitting at home, I can't have any influence. But if you send it in, presumably, could you just say like a mouth, almost like a direction? So you could be like, right, oi, Rooney, do you mind just like pulling it back a bit? Like, you could be really detailed. You could be like, well, what about to the keeper or defender? Like,
well, isn't that what their manager's for?
What's the limits?
Isn't that what their manager's for, though? Is to
shout. No, for
sure,
but a supporter sitting at home always fancies himself as a manager. Yeah, and how many times you sit and watch the TV and you're like, oh my Lord, like my nan could have scored that. That type of thing. Yeah. So I'm thinking, well, maybe you could send in like a proper tactical analysis. Like, we really need to use the midfield a lot more here, guys. Does that get edited out?
I'm not quite sure if that's what the app is for. I think it's more, just fan involvement. But if that's what you want to use it for, Fred, you can use it for that. You can use it to give them top tips. I'm sure that there are there are probably no rules as to what exactly. I mean, as long as it's within the lines and it's appropriate, then I'm sure you could give them your advice if you wanted to. But I think they're probably expecting more, like, come on, up the Reds and all of that, stuff like that. So
yeah, keep it short and sweet. Okay, I get it. So I've been looking on Twitter and looking around. So there was a recent Twitter poll that revealed sort of split opinions about this. So they polled 2,500 people, and 36.5% said they liked the idea.
Right.
34.2% said they hate the idea, and 29.3% said they couldn't decide. So I'm not sure really what that reveals, apart from a split opinion. I think it pretty much tells you what Twitter is like.
Quite, I think so.
Indecisive.
I think people say that they'll hate it, but then once they've got 3 beers in them and they're watching the football, and it's football, people have missed football. I know a lot of people have missed football. So I think, football's on, your favourite team are playing, you've got a few beers in you. So even those ones that say they'll hate it, or the ones that say I can't decide, I think they'll probably be interested once, if they've sank a few pints and their team's on the up, or on not on the up, and they've got something they want to voice. So
I think there's no harm in giving it a try. I mean, there's all these like new things. We have no idea. Like, we've never done it before. We have no idea what it's going to be like for fans sitting at home. So, I think anything's on the table. I got another reaction from Chris in the comments section of the Daily Mail, which is always quite amusing. And Chris from London put, "This is just like a 70s sitcom." I think referring to the kind of laughter, in the Big Bang Theory type TV show where you've got
like
the fake
Friends,
laughter.
Yeah. But some of it's real, because with Friends, it's real, but then other things, it's not real. It's just literally the same laughter.
Do you want a really weird fact as well? They're quite creepy. So when you're watching these old episodes of recorded laughter, a vast majority of the people who have been recorded are now dead. So you are listening to
a dead
people
person
laughing who are now dead. That's quite strange, isn't it?
Yeah, that is strange.
That kind of puts a weird edge on it.
Yeah. I think that's weird, because they don't really do that anymore with sitcoms, do they? They don't really have that sort of, the laughter in the background, or the ooh, because they, it used to be so typical. And like, I remember, like, a lot of my friends, there's sort of the common debate of loving and hating Friends. Some people hate Friends, some people love it, and a lot of people I know that hate Friends hate it because of the laughing and the background noise, which I never notice. I never pick up on it because I'm so used to it, but then other people can't stand it, and it just irritates them and it puts them off. So it's a funny little concept that they used to do that so frequently on sitcoms, that they just have an audience that would sort of tell you how you should be reacting, almost, because that is sort of what it does.
It's weird, because I agree with you. Like, the concept is strange, but in some ways you're right. It kind of like, it prompts you. Like, I think if you didn't have it, and say you watch Friends without that laughter, would you like be sitting there and there'd be like some really funny lines and you might not laugh at them because no one else? Do you know what I mean? Like, we're like, human beings are like,
or you might not necessarily pick up on a
follow
joke.
Other people.
Yeah, you might not necessarily pick up on a joke. You might hear it, but you might not process it, and then you hear somebody else laugh at it, and then you have to sort of tell yourself that line.
It's like a cue.
Yeah, no, that's funny. Yeah, so maybe it sort of cues you to think about, what's going on. But it is still a strange concept, because they don't really do that anymore, as far as I'm aware. Sitcoms don't really do that, but they used to film them all in front of live studio audiences, though, so that's why that's why they did it. But
the only one I can think of is Mrs. Brown's Boys. Have you seen that? I haven't seen it, but I've seen that.
But then that is sort of, isn't that the concept of it, though, that it's supposed to be? I don't know.
It's like a show within a show.
Yeah, I don't know. To be honest, I don't watch it. It doesn't appeal to me.
I'm not sure. I don't know. It annoys me, that show. Right. So, yeah, this is. I mean, I like the idea that they've come up with in Japan. But I've been thinking, sort of scrolling around and seeing what other ideas have been floated about how to enhance the kind of fan experience with football being behind closed doors. So I've come up with these. So the first one, which is a really popular one, and one that's been muted by Borussia Mönchengladbach, is the idea of cardboard cutouts. So Borussia Mönchengladbach are proposing that fans would basically pay £17 for a print of themselves. So say you're a season ticket holder, you could pay £17 to have a cardboard version of yourself placed into the ground, and then that money would go to charity. So the idea is that you wouldn't have the sound, but you would be able to, in some form, be represented at the ground, and also the players would look around and they'd see lots of different cardboard fans. That's the idea.
Right.
I think it's strange if I'm being honest.
So you've got a season ticket. Would you be if United came up with that idea, would you be sending a selfie of yourself and getting yourself cut out and put up in the stand? Honestly,
Do you know what? I'd be tempted.
Do you get to keep the cutout? Because I'd quite enjoy that if you got sent the cutout.
That's what I'm thinking. If you got to keep the cutout, I would probably sign up for that.
Would it be life size as well?
Well, that's the other thing. Because I'm quite small.
Send in your measurements.
I'm quite small, so maybe they do if they did like a taller version of me, like I'd have an access to a review that I'd never usually have in person. So they might actually be kinder to me. And if, as I said, if they put me as kind of like a 6 foot figure, I might be doing quite well out of it. I don't know. I'm not sure. But one thing not to do is what FC Seoul did. Now, they're a football team that play in the South Korean K-League. And the mannequins they used to replace fans turned out to be sex dolls.
Oh, God.
So people were watching on TV and were sending in pictures and saying, they look pretty suspicious. What's going on here? Turns out they're sex dolls, and the club itself blame a misunderstanding with the supplier, which is a pretty diplomatic way of putting it. But that's a real word of warning to Premier League clubs. If you're going to go down this route, make sure you get the supplier right, or basically don't do what FC Seoul did there. But the other ideas that have been floated, so fan drive-ins, have you heard this one?
No, I don't think I have.
So, like a movie drive-in, in America when they go for a big... I find that bizarre, that idea of a movie drive-in. I don't get it.
But they used to do it in the olden days, not olden days, but back in the day when they didn't have tellies. That's what they do, and they tune into a radio station that would have that on. But, I mean, nowadays, you don't really need to do it, so...
Well, this is a route that Danish club FC Midtjylland decided to go down. So what they do is they'll be installing giant screens outside the stadium so that fans could basically watch from the comfort of their own cars. But I have to say, unlikely to be an option that Premier League club's going to go for because of the messages, stay at home. And if you encourage people to be driving to football stadiums, that is not ideal. I'm not sure about it. I'm not sure how that really enhances a fan experience.
Yeah, I don't either, because, well, it's just the same as you sitting and watching it at home, really, because you're not interacting with the players, surely. The players are still on the pitch, you're still outside the stadium, surely. So I don't get how that works, because the players are still playing a match with no audience inside the stadium. You're just a bit closer to them than you would be if you were at home.
It's weird, you're just in a car parking space.
Yeah, it's just pointless. Waste of money.
Yeah, waste of money, waste of petrol. I'm not sure about that. And the final idea that I've was seeing online, so viewing parties. So this wouldn't actually be fans, again, they wouldn't be actually driving to the ground and parking up outside. This would be from your house. And it's a statement from Sky yesterday when they announced that the Premier League will be coming back on June 17th. Hinted at this kind of thing. So they were saying that they plan to launch a host of innovative new features to enable fans to share the moments. Share the moments live with friends and family on virtual platforms. So big Zoom calls, things like that. I'm not sure. You'll go on, maybe click on a link, and you can open up hundreds of fans on one big sort of party watching it at home. Sounds quite good.
I've got this funny story about I can't really remember who it's about, but it's to do with football stuff and filming, like sort of joining a group call. Anyway, this friend of my mum's, a colleague of hers, he's a big football fan, and he was watching something on Facebook of a live stream of something, of his football match that was going on. This was a while ago. Anyway, he was sat there watching this video, and he was reading the comments, and it was all these comments saying, get this idiot off, because he was watching this thing. Or somebody, I think it was sort of like a match of the day sort of live stream, maybe, somebody talking about the football match. And he's called Nick. He was just sat there watching it, just reading all these comments, thinking, why is everyone being horrible? And he was just sat there eating his cereal, just chilling. Anyway, about an hour later, he realised that he was live streaming himself, like joined the call with this other fella, and was just sat there the whole time eating his cereal. So it's sort of like, could you imagine if you just think you're clicking a link, because a lot of people aren't very tech savvy. You click on a link and you think that that's just the link to to watch the match, or to watch the pundits talk about the match, and you join the call and you don't realize that you've joined a Zoom meeting with 500 other people you're watching, and you're just sat there like chilling in your underwear, so it's fun.
No, you're right. There are a lot of ways that I think that could go quite badly wrong. Also, people again coming on the call and pranking the call, doing things like obscenities. I wonder what they mean when they say virtual platforms. How kind of what that actually means. I'm not sure how whether that would actually be webcam or like big Zoom calls. But watch this space. Basically, we'll see how that unfolds. And it got me thinking. Do you remember the whole debate? So when Japan were launching their bid for the World Cup in 2022, the basic idea around their bid is that they would basically provide sort of a hologram of the match. Right. So they would hologram the matches, which would then be able to beam to stadiums all around the world. So you could be sitting in, say, Wembley Stadium in the UK and be able to watch the match that's being played in Japan, because they basically hologram it onto the pitch.
Wow.
Which I remember hearing about it and thinking, that is absolutely crazy. But that was 2022. We're now 2020. What I'd be thinking is, do we have that technology now? Because I've seen, like, I'll show you in a bit, but I've seen a couple of videos that are crazy. Like, there are sports teams that have actually used this sort of holographic technology, and they've been able to do some ridiculous things. But what you could maybe do is, could you say hologram a crowd, like into a stadium, then incorporate the sound aspect. We've been talking about the sounds when you're watching it, and like have a tailored sound system. So you'd have both. So for the player, he'd be looking around and he'd be able to like actually see what would look pretty realistic, people, like the crowd. The person at home would be able to see the crowd again, but would also be able to hear the tailored chants. I mean, that is far-fetched, but if they could do that, that would be pretty crazy.
That would be.
But I'll show you the videos, because I was looking at them today. I'm going to try and share my screen. And they are actually crazy. So the first one is from American football. So I'll get this up if this works. I'd never seen these before.
Cafe Nero.
Everyone's going to be sort of debating my apps. Let's have a look. Here we go. Right, watch this. This is a Ravens game. That Raven is a hologram. Wow. How crazy is that? And the people in the stadium are seeing that.
That's terrifying.
So like that is taken from a fan in the stadium. And then I saw this other one, which was to celebrate a stadium opening in Argentina. And I think their club crest must be a lion. Hence this. Look at this.
Wow.
It's just bizarre. So you'd be
It's
looking
bizarre.
up and being like, oh, it's just a lion on fire walking.
It's sick though, but
Stadium route.
it's bizarre.
Absolutely bizarre. So yeah, they've got the technology to do it. Right, I'm going to stop that and hope the camera doesn't fall over. Right, so yeah, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. So that's my idea. Hologram the crowd, have the sound system to match that, and I think you've got your answer. What do you reckon?
I think that's a pretty good shout. You know, I don't think anybody's going to actually build the technology to do that, but it's a good idea. I think, you know, the concept is good. You may need to go onto Dragon's Den and like pitch your idea, you know, Dragon's Den style. I think it's a good idea, but you know, we'll see if they actually do it. You know,
they've not got long, to be fair. I mean, the season starts on June 17th, so they've not got long to be doing stuff like that. But I don't know. Maybe if Japan aim for 2022, it may be something we should be looking at. Be quite
True.
Cool. So I've designed a quiz for you.
Right.
But you've also designed a quiz for me.
There was a bit of miscommunication, wasn't there, Fred? So I've done a quiz and you've done a quiz. So who wants to go? Yeah. I've done 5 questions. How many have you done?
I've done 5.
So do you want to go first? Okay. You go first, you tell me your questions, and then I'll do mine. I made this quiz up in about 30 seconds.
This should be fun. It's going to test my vocals as well. So this quiz on the theme of football chants is called Finish the Chant. I'm going to sing the chant but miss out a key word. You have to tell me what that word is.
Okay.
5 questions. Here we go. Number 1, I'm gonna have to get like the beep right because I had to go over this before. Like, it sounds really weird. Okay, ready? Your are offside. Your are offside. Luis Suarez. Your are offside. What is the
Your teeth.
Yes. Very good. Had you heard that before then? Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that about an hour ago and I was trying to find some quiz questions. No!
This is going to be the easiest quiz we've ever done. Oh no, we both inadvertently looked up the answers without even knowing it. Okay, number 2.
Yep.
Mm-m's on fire. Your defense is terrified. Mm-m's on fire. Who is
is Will Grigg.
Will Grigg. He is on fire.
I used to think it was Will Gregg, but it's Will Grigg.
Will Grigg. Will Grigg is on fire. When was that chant big? Was that last year, that chant?
No,
it was 2 years ago.
It was years ago, like 3 or 4 years ago.
A couple years. No, surely not that long ago, was it?
Well, it was when I was in like school, I think. So when I was doing my A-levels, I'm pretty sure.
That would have been a couple of years ago. Good chant though. Okay, number 3 is we pay for your hats. We pay for your hats. What a waste of We pay for your hats. What is This is aimed at the police. So bit of context. The police walk by a group of football fans and they sing that chant. But what
taxpayers' money?
Oh, I'll give you it. Council tax.
Right.
I mean, you went the long way round, but council tax. Yeah, nice. Number 4, you should get this one. I'm forever blowing pretty in the air. They fly so high. What is
I actually don't think I know.
Blowing. I'll give you a clue. I'm forever blowing. Think about what would you...
Smoke.
No, the answer is bubbles.
Bubbles?
I'm forever blowing bubbles, pretty bubbles in the air. That is a chant for West Ham United. That's what they sing.
Why?
It's weird. I know. I've never got why they sing. Why that's their kind of like trademark chant. I find that weird. Bubbles. And then finally, number 5. You should get this one. Ollie's at the. Tell me how good does it feel? What is?
Wheel.
Wheel.
Yay.
Feel. Nice. So you did quite well there. You got 4 out of 5, I think. Yeah, 4 out of 5. Good effort.
Very good.
Good effort. I'm surprised. To be fair, as I said, I spent a good 20 minutes earlier trying to like match up the because I thought I was just going to actually sing the chant and then inadvertently like sing the word as well. It's quite hard to time it, but.
Well, I won't lie that the teeth one was one of my questions for you. Okay,
we'll say out of 4 then or something maybe. Should we take that teeth one away?
Yeah, so it's out of 4. So I got 3 out of 4. So I still did well, I think. Or did I get 2 out? 3 out of 4, yeah. Okay, so my first question number 1 is about a chant that you mentioned before, the chant Will Griggs on Fire. So can you please tell me what the original song is? So not Will Griggs on Fire, but that's based on a real life song. And what is the song? And if you could tell me the artist as well, that would be great.
Oh, the song is Free From Desire. I don't know the artist. No, okay. I don't know the artist.
So it is Freed From Desire, and it is by Gala.
Okay.
Yeah, so you got half a point there.
Okay, half point.
Yeah, half a point. Okay, so the next one is a football chant, and I want you to finish the lyric. So, his name is Rio, and he blank. So it's 4 words. So it's, his name is Rio, and he
His name is Rio. Da, 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 da. The funny thing is, I think you've looked on the same website as I have, but I can't remember the answer. Did you look at, was the website like 30 funniest football charts or something?
Yeah.
Classic. But even so, I can't remember. Bald?
His name is Rio, and he something from the something. That's a clue.
Oh. No, I can't.
Okay,
I can't.
So his name is Rio, and he watches from the stand.
Oh.
It's about Rio Ferdinand.
Rio Ferdinand.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the next one is also a finish the lyric. And it is, which you might know after was both reading the same website, but Chelsea, wherever you may be, keep your wife from blank.
Oh.
Chelsea.
John Terry.
Yeah. Chelsea, wherever you may be, keep your wife from John Terry.
John Terry. Yeah.
Bit of a savage one, that, but fair play. Fair enough. And finally, the last one is about the classic song Mo Salah. My autocorrect has changed it to Mo Sarah. So I was about to start singing that. So Mo Salah running down the wing. Sorry, is it wing or ring?
No, the wing. He could also be running on the ring.
That really confused me. It's autocorrect. Just because it's on my notes, your autocorrect is not how you usually use it. Okay, so what is the original song to that?
Oh. Da, 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 da. I'm gonna have to go in my head. Da, 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 da. It's like Don't Sit Down. Is it Don't Sit Down?
It's called Sit Down.
Sit down next to me, or just sit down. Just
sit down.
Sit down. Yeah. Sit down or sit down next to me?
Sit down.
Sit down, okay.
Yeah. So
sit down there. Yeah, okay.
So, and do you know the artist?
Like, I'm gonna have such a guess, like you two? No, that's such a guess. I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't think you get it anyway. It's by someone called James. It's James.
James, okay. I remember it was quite funny. Last year when remember that chant was massive and everyone was singing it. We were in a bar at uni and this guy was playing that song. You were there, I think. Do you remember?
Yeah.
And we were like, for the whole evening, we were just like, if that song comes on, that'd be unreal. And the guy started playing it, but he did like the original version. And then we all just like came in this big group, just going, I'm so sad. And this guy was loving it.
You love a good football chant.
Everyone, what's that?
You love a good football chant.
I do love a good football chant. I end up singing football chants. That's standard. The end of a night out always finishes with a football chant. I don't know why that is a thing with me. Always. So what did I get?
You got 2 points because you got 2 half points.
I got 2 points and
you got 2 half points and 1 point.
Lord. Not great considering I went on the actual website where you got the questions from.
Yep.
My scores. I think we should get like a tally and work out how well I've done over the course of this podcast. It's so bad. So bad. Yes. June 17th, Premier League comes back. We will see how that unfolds, what kind of fan experience that entails. Quickly, if you could choose one of the ideas that we've gone over today, which one would you go for, do you think?
The holograms.
The holograms? Like the impossible one.
Yeah. In an ideal world. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, the hologram one. Yeah. I like the hologram one. I just don't like, the app, I think, would be strange for a football player playing in a stadium.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that would be weird.
It's strange times as it is, though, Fred. So,
Strange times. That is true. Strange methods. Right. Better go. But we'll see you next week.
We will.
I'm going to continue waiting for my laptop.
I'm going to the beach.
You're going to the beach?
Yeah. Beach day.
Oh, unbelievable.
So
well, enjoy. Who are you going with? Is that with friends? Yeah,
with the girls. Just,
loving it.
Fun.
Well, you're free now. You finish your work, so enjoy, and we'll see you next week.
We will. See you next week. Have a good day.
All right, then. See you later.
Bye. Bye.